This is the Yes We Canada podcast, an independent podcast where your support is essential to our production. You can help fund our work with a monthly subscription by going to patreon.com/YesWeCanada, where your contribution is deeply appreciated. Okay, let's roll.
This is the Yes We Canada podcast, the progressive's guide to getting the fuck out. This episode, the Endorsement.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Hey, Matt.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dog.
We're rolling.
Oh, sorry. Hey, I'm Matt Zimble in Montreal. In sports broadcasting, there's one show that always amazes me. The men's 100-yard dash. The sports bros take an event that lasts 11 seconds, and they've figured out how to make it into a 1-hour primetime TV special.
The fastest man in the world this year.
That'd be like doing a 60-minute music special about a 4-bar drum fill. I'm telling you this because today on the pod, inflated with all the pretension and self-importance you've come to expect from us, the Yes We Canada editorial board will announce our selection for President of the United States of America, the second greatest nation on earth. Yep, it's time for the eagerly anticipated endorsement episode. There are 6 of us in the cast and crew on YWC, and inspired by our brothers in jock casting, we've decided to take up 20 minutes of your precious time announcing the editorial board's choice between 2 names. Let's meet the cast and crew of the Yes We Canada editorial board. Head engineer and sound designer, Pi Salen Cutler.
Present.
Announcer, Lisa Evans.
Present. Why are there no snacks?
Permanent guest host, Mio Edelman, reporting for duty. Regular contributor, His Holiness, the Big Guy, God. Omnipresent. Great to be on the pod, Matthew. Thanks for having me. And for our regular view from the right, Festus R. Fobilly. Son bitch. This is as useless as tits on a bull. Takes less than a second to say, Trump 2024. Thanks all for being here. Oh, God. Wasn't me. Okay, the coveted YWC endorsement for the 47th President of the divided states of America. Now, Lisa, you're a very busy announcer. I know you have 3 film narrations, 2 ad spots, a tag, and a novel to voice today, so I won't hold you up. Give us your choice for POTUS.
Black is the new orange, bitches.
And
What? And that's it. Gotta run. Busy.
Thanks, Lisa. Don't forget to drop by for the end of the show. You still got to do your extra tag. God, you're up next, buddy.
Buddy! Buddy! Up in heaven, that's what we call Buddha. We call him Buddy. And I would have brought him with me today, but he is a god of very, very few words. Mostly just ohms and ohms. He's always om. But you know, I have not missed an American election. Ever. I voted for George Washington.
So that's why we're very excited to hear about who you've chosen, especially because there's been a lot of talk about the evangelical and the Jewish vote.
Matthew. Again, it's true. The evangelicals love me, but I don't care. I don't care how I'm polling, because I'm not running. What concerns me about the evangelicals is I'm not sure what part of having sex with and then paying off a porn star while your wife is home looking after your newborn they don't seem to understand. Also, you may recall my son Jesus spoke a great deal about charity. Now, Trump was fined $2 million and forced to close his charitable foundation because he illegally used his charitable funds for doing things like making portraits of himself. They can't do that. Do the evangelicals know this? Of course they do. And yet, they still support him. I have one message for the evangelicals. What part of grab 'em by the pussy do you people not understand? Okay, Matthew, I know, I understand you wanted this fast and snappy. So I'm going to endorse, but I'm irritated about a few things. When Trump was not talking about the issue that faces the American people the most, which was, according to him, the size of Arnold Palmer's penis, which I agree was very large because I made it. It was pretty impressive, I must say. But when Trump was not talking about the size of the golfer's willy, he was talking about how disappointed he was in the Jewish people.
I wasn't treated properly by the voters who happen to be Jewish.
As you know, my son was Jewish, so I love the Jewish people. I love all the people. You know who else was not treated very well by the Jews who were in the cabinet of Bibi Netanyahu? The Palestinians. Perhaps you've heard of some of my philosophies. An eye for an eye, turn the other cheek, the punishment must match the crime. The Israeli Defense Force is bombing UN barracks and clinics where children are getting polio vaccines. Now, I'm going to repeat that one more time because you may not believe it when I tell you that the IDF is blowing up places where children are getting polio vaccines. Just like a majority of the Palestinian people, I do not support Hamas, I do not support Hezbollah, but I also do not support a government whose cabinet thinks that bombing children's vaccine sites is fair game in obtaining what they call their military objectives, which appears to be the systematic annihilation of the Palestinian people. But don't believe me, I'm just God. Listen to the Israeli journalist Gideon Levy.
After 1 year of terrible fighting in Gaza, of over 40,000 people killed, most of them civilians, of hundreds of Israeli soldiers who were killed. Is Israel a more secure place to be? Is Israel in a better place than it was before the war? What did Israel gain exactly from this war? Let's say that the war is totally justified and even legitimate, and Israel has the most moral army in the world, which it does. But in terms of interest, what did we gain out of this war exactly? Hamas is life and kicking. The hostages were not released. Israel is turning into a pariah state all over the world. What did Israel gain out of this justified, inevitable war? Nothing. We are in a much worse position than we were on the 6th of October.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm God. Now, on to my endorsement. Donald J. Trump is not fit to lead, and therefore I, God, am endorsing Kamala Harris, who I think will make an excellent president. Thank you for having me. Kamish Kabal, Kabish Kabal, Kabish Kabal. I don't know what it means either. It just sounds like very good. Sounds religious.
Kamish Kabal to you too, God. I'm increasingly told to be respectful of Trump supporters and their lame choice. Why? Because we have to heal as a nation. So I try to be polite, considerate, and non-judgmental.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
But, as you can hear, it's not easy. Republicans keep using the phrase, the Harris administration. And I get that. It's fair in the thrust and parry of a campaign. But please allow me to remind you all, the VP does not drive policy in an administration. They sub for the boss at funerals in third world countries, which Trump calls shithole countries. And they break ties in the Senate. That is the job description. A job that has been described by a previous occupant of the office, John Vance Garner, like this. The vice presidency isn't worth a pail of warm piss. Pi. Sorry, guys. Just give me a minute here. I need to talk to the control room. Pi.
Yo.
Could you could you do a gender check on that bucket of piss sound effect? It sounds like a man pissing to me, and the current vice president is a woman. And on this show, we even fact-check the sound design because we want to make sure that shit is factually true on Yes We Canada.
I thought we were talking about piss, not shit. Don't worry, I'm in it, on it. I mean, I'll look into it. Oh, and by the way, I'm endorsing Kamala.
Thank you, Pi. So far, that's 4 out of 6 employees of Yes We Canada that endorse Harris. Faux Billy, where are you at on this endorsement business? Some bitch, you coastal elites, y'all so pompous and pretty damn sure y'all. I reckon y'all thinks that y'all gooder than us. Sure enough, tarnation, uppity mofo, Yankees, y'all tore up. That dog won't hunt Trump 2024. Y'all got STDs. I think you mean TDS? Trump Derangement Syndrome? I wonder, why might that be?
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired.
As the 4-year cycle of presidential electoral politics in the United States draws to an end, and not a minute too soon in our view, I want to talk for a minute about journalism and candidate integrity. I'm going to speak for 1 minute and 30 seconds and 4 frames. Do not scroll. There's been a lot of chat about journalists fact-checking candidates during town halls and debates. The Republican Party actually negotiated an agreement with the networks that they would not fact-check during the debates. I say shame on both parties, the parties here being the networks and the Republicans. Facts are not negotiable, my Republicans. Facts are data-based morsels of information. Saying that Haitian immigrants in Springfield are eating the cats and dogs of the people that live there is not a fact, it's a lie. As the mayor and the city manager and then the Republican governor of Ohio all confirmed, it is a lie, constructed by the vice presidential candidate on the Republican side. Now, I'm not going to litigate this lie that caused bomb threats in schools, death threats against residents and members of the legal immigrant population of Springfield in the last few seconds that I have, but I will say this. If you've never tried pug chops, they are delicious. Marinated in a little Dijon with some fresh rosemary. No, that's a lie. I've never had pug chops, although the recipe does sound doggone good. The question, whose job is it to fact-check on a debate? The journalists or the opposing candidate? Well, that's a valid question, and I have a valid answer. If the journalist poses a question to the candidate and they give a response that is not true, then the journalist must rebut. It's not up to the opposing candidate to burn through their allotted time cleaning up a truth mess on aisle 2. You will have also noted that the new chic in debate prep is, if there's a question the candidate does not want to answer, they simply pivot to a subject that they would prefer to discuss, and then they run out the clock. America, we are exhausted by this campaign and the political divide. But from J.D. Vance's childless cat ladies to Governor Kristi Noem shooting her dog Cricket on purpose to...
They're eating the dogs. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're eating the cats. Meow, 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 meow. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
American pets need this election to be over more than anybody right now. Bow wow.
Who let the dogs out?
I've watched quite a few American elections. I've read the campaign postmortem books. I mean, we're talking full election geek here, I admit it. That said, I have never seen an election campaign season quite as fucked up as this one. On TikTok in May of 2023, I pompously declared that neither Biden nor Trump would be the candidate on Election Day. And I got pretty close, 50%. As you know, Biden dropped out in July of 2024, followed by 2 assassination attempts on Trump, and news that the vice presidential candidate on the Republican side Googled sex with dolphins and then humped his couch. Who among us hasn't, right? But for me, the inciting moment, the WTF, was when the Republican candidate for President of the United States stood on trial in New York, up on 34 felonies related to hush money payments that he made.
A jury of 12 Manhattan residents reaches an historic verdict.
All rise.
His Honor, Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Juan Marchand has left his chambers and just entered the courtroom. The accused and the defense team are now seated as we await the verdict in this remarkable case, the people of New York versus Donald J. Trump, where for the first time in American history, a former president has been accused of committing 34 felonies, including falsifying business records related to payments made to an erotic actress to buy her silence about a sexual encounter with the former president. Defense attorney Todd Blanche is whispering to co-counsel Susan Nichols, and the defendant is looking around the courtroom, a scowl fixed firmly on his face.
Nothing unusual here, Matt. The defendant is up on an additional 54 felony counts in 4 other jurisdictions, including conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, conspiracy against rights of the American people, etc., etc. So courtroom audiences are very familiar with what has become known as the scowl. Trump posted $175
I'm sorry
million.
to interrupt, Mio, but Trump defense attorney Todd Blanche has just approached the bench. In an effort to hear the conversation between the judge and the lawyer, the courtroom has fallen silent, and look at this. It appears that the defendant has just fallen asleep.
Well, nothing unusual here. This is the 7th time the defendant has fallen asleep during the proceedings. And, as in previous plays, the eyelids are shut, the head gently sloped at the neck, and, hold on, what's this?
Order. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will never forget it. Thank you.
It appears there's been some movement on the field of play.
Movement? What kind of movement?
Donald Trump guilty on all counts. He is now the first former president to become a convicted felon. Good evening.
What a shit show. I want you to imagine one other thing. Think about this for a second. Imagine if a woman was president of the United States and she was on trial in New York for paying off a male porn star to avoid the story coming out during the election. Do you think she'd pass wind during the proceedings?
Order.
So, Mio, it's our first endorsement episode, and I just wanted to find out where you stand on this issue. Have you made your choice for President of the United States? Tell me what the Japanese-Jewish-Canadian vote is.
Well, this is the first time in my lifetime where I've had to make a choice among 3 different candidates.
3 different candidates?
I've endorsed already. I had to endorse a second time. However, privately, not to you, of course. This is the first official endorsement.
Okay.
But never before have I had the experience of endorsing twice.
Okay.
Going through the different deliberations, the research, and so I think that...
Do your research, dude. Do your research.
I looked into it, okay? So I'm going to have to go with Kamala Harris. The reason why it took me so long is because I had to figure out how to pronounce her first name properly. I did not want to come out in endorsing the wrong pronunciation.
I did that for a while, too, and a friend of mine who is normally very patient said to me, how many times do I have to tell you? It's Kamala.
Kamala, absolutely.
So you're going for Kamala. Okay, yeah. I think that's a wise choice.
Is that a real surprise, though? I mean...
No, it's not.
Right. I mean, because you're not just voting for the candidate. You're voting for a record of legislation, not just based on one candidate, but also based on an entire party. It is a shit show.
It is a shit show. Are you nervous?
Nervous about my endorsement?
No, nervous about the potential results.
I think that definitely there is the specter, the possibility. However, I just don't think that's going to happen because I do feel like the Republican candidate, the wheels are falling off the bus.
Well, thank you for coming by for your endorsement, and thank you for guest hosting when I'm on assignment in the United States. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your endorsement.
Okay, Pi, cue the timpani. Please welcome the host and chief correspondent of Yes We Canada, me. Okay, spoiler alert. I voted for Kamala in advance and enthusiastically. I respect her. I love her tenacity. I love the joy and compassion in her heart. I love that she was educated in Montreal. I love that she worked at McDonald's. She's got some innovative progressive programs, and frankly, you guys, I'm just sick of men in charge, because I think there's pretty good evidence that has not worked out so great. So, I want a chick in charge.
It is time to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict, the fear and division. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America. And I am ready to offer that leadership as the next President of the United States of America.
Wokies and wokettes, here's my closing argument. I'm not sure how much FaceTime you get with the MAGA crowd, but because of the podcast and my TikTok account, @MattZimbelOfficial, I get a lot of input from my MAGAlicious friends from across the aisle. So I'm here to tell you there is a serious case against Trump.
They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day.
Multiple capital entry! Multiple capital entry! It's now effectively a riot!
A tourist visit to the Capitol for some legitimate political discourse? I don't think so. Trump's actions on January 6 make him unfit for the role of the President of the United States.
Well, we need a businessman to run America.
Well, I did some research into this businessman. Trump University, Trump Air, Trump Steaks, Trump Casinos, Trump Water, Trump Wine. Trump is a terrible businessman who has been impeached twice and is guilty of sexual assault, 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, and another give or take 50 felony charges for, minor shit like defrauding the people of the United States. Oh, yeah. And he said he would pay down the national debt. He fucked that up too and increased it by $8 trillion, the largest peacetime increase in the national debt ever. And breaking news, after 8 years, he now has a concept for a health plan so he can cancel Obamacare. Some of my buddies on the right whip out their misogyny.
The world's on fire. Now's not the time for a woman later.
Yep, I guess you're right. Now's the time for a rapist felon with 6 bankruptcies who's charged with defrauding the citizens of the United States. That's what time it is. Should Trump lose on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever they finish counting all the mail-in ballots in Maricopa County for the 6th time, Trump can whine about the results being stolen from him. He can play golf, he can go to court, and then he can go to jail. And then
he can shut the fuck up and leave us the fuck alone!
I'm not sure how unhinged endorsements are supposed to be. We've never endorsed before. And this time, we're endorsing Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America.
Thanks for listening to the Yes We Canada podcast. The role of guest host Mio Edelman was performed by Mio Edelman. Our sound designer and mix engineer is Pi Salen Cutler. The theme was written by Doug Wild and Matt Zimbel and performed by Manteca. God appears courtesy of the God Pod, thanks to Mel Brooks. Special thanks to CBC's Sunday Magazine for their interview with Gideon Levy. To support Yes We Canada, please go to patreon.com/YesWeCanada. No deities were harmed in the production of this podcast. My name is Lisa Evans, and I'm your announcer. Until next time.